Welcome to this edition of Focus, a program produced by the Department of Disaster Management, DDM. I'm your host, Fiona Alexander Smith, Information and Education Manager at the DDM. The department continues to work towards its vision of creating a resilient Virgin Islands and safeguarding life, livelihoods, and sustainable development. This vision for the territory is dependent on all sectors and all people within our community working together to ensure that the impacts of various hazards are minimized and that our ability to cope and respond to adversities is strengthened. As a result, the DDM actively explores ways to empower the people within the territory to be in a position to cope and respond to emergencies and crisis situations. Our efforts in building the territory's resilience is well documented in a number of our programs, which are implemented in partnership with private and public sector organizations and NGOs. These include Community Emergency Response Teams, TSART, Business Emergency Response Team, BERT, among others. Enabling the residents to take appropriate action when faced with adverse situations is essential, especially since the Virgin Islands is located in one of the most disaster-prone regions in the world, and like many other Caribbean islands, the territory is exposed to multiple natural and man-made hazards. Given the historical background and BVI's geographical location, the possibility exists for a significant event which may require significant search and rescue efforts. So in this edition of Focus, we will pay particular attention to a team which was developed to strengthen the territory's ability to respond to various search and rescue and emergency situations. The team I'm referring to is the National Territorial Search and Rescue Team, commonly called TSART. The team was developed and endorsed by Cabinet as a specialized group in 2014. Their development was necessary since search and rescue operations in the Virgin Islands can be very technical and physically demanding. The team was initially comprised of 20 members from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force and the Virgin Islands Fire and Rescue Service. The team has since expanded to include members from Her Majesty's Customs and the BVI Airports Authority Fire and Rescue Unit. Membership now stands at 24. Here to speak more about TSART is Mr. Steve George, one of the first 20 individuals in the group. Thank you for being a part of the program and welcome.
Thank you.
All right, first of all, how did you become involved in TSART?
In 2014, the Commissioner of Police, I'm a police officer by profession. The Commissioner of Police chose 10 of us police officers who were interested in rescue missions. And we joined together with other officers from the fire department under DDM to form a rescue team. We have been undergoing training from 2014 until present. The training is supposed to finish in 2018 when we will all be certified internationally as search and rescue operators.
Right, so what does a team actually mean to you? What does TSART mean to you?
TSART means the world to me. As a boy, I was always interested in helping people, and that is still my passion. And becoming a member of TSART empowered that more because then I get to interact with people more in case of emergencies and other cases. So it is enjoyable for me, and it is part of my passion to assist people, especially people of this territory where I live and reside all these years.
Right, that's good to hear. Now, in your opening remarks, you would have mentioned some ongoing training as part of our efforts to ensure that the team is internationally accredited.
Yes.
Right? And of course, ongoing training and skills development is essential. And the DDM, we have identified and arranged a number of training opportunities for the team throughout the years to include incident command system, rope rescue, land navigation, etc.
Yes.
Explain how these training opportunities contribute to TSART.
As a rescue of, team, you need to be equipped with all this training. All these trainings are paramount because you are exposed to a number of scenarios, number of different incidences and instances where your skills will need to be at top level. This training equip us in a way that we are able to assist anyone, anywhere in the world, if any incident occur, including man-made disasters and natural disasters. Things like incident command, We are capable, if an incident happens here in this territory, any part of the world, that we can go to that scene, command it, and take care of it, do all the rescue missions possible. We are training rope rescue. The Brivia is very mountainous, and what if team and DDM have noticed there is need for rope rescue. If in case, let's say for instance, a vehicle go over a hill, and there are casualties, whatever, over the hillside, we are capable of going down that hill, deal with the individuals, and bring them back up. So we are trained in that instance. In case of a building, we are capable of entering a building by rope, doing rescue, and saving lives in that instance. So the training, what we've been going through, or what we've been through so far, have helped us in the instance that where we are right now, we are capable of handling any disaster.
How intense are these training programs?
Rough. Very rough. All training we do start with classwork. You have to know the theory. You have to know what the pros and the cons are. You have to do classwork. You have an exam to pass. You have practical. We have to go out in the field and perform what you've taught in class. And you have to do them and pass. If you fail, you have to do them over. So it's not like you enter the class, laugh and have fun, and at the end of the day you are a member. No, it don't happen that way. And this goes for hours. Mm-hmm. These include very long hours, and you have to be dedicated. Otherwise, you're going to fail.
Right, and I know last year in particular there was an exercise involving RFA Lime Bay on Anegada.
Yes.
I know that was somewhat challenging. Speak to me about that.
That was one of the roughest I've ever been through as a TSART member. We had a simulation where we had to do some rescue. Mm-hmm. The simulation was about an hurricane passed through the islands. A boat got sunk. People was stranded, some in the water, and we had to find all these victims. There was over 20 victims in all. And at the end of the day, we did rescue 20 victims. It calls for long hours, long, strenuous hours. You have to be out there in all the elements. Mm-hmm. And on that day, it was really hot in Anegada. But we stuck it out. We did our task, make sure everyone was rescued. And that was the aim of the rescue exercise. So it is not easy. And being a TSART member is not an easy job. But at the end of the day, it's perseverance.
Right. All right, so Mr. George, you've been speaking about the formal training programs or arrangements that are in place, but apart from these formal arrangements, does TSART have any internal procedures to ensure that the skills are continuously practiced? Yes,
we do. We continue our training because training is part of the key. You have to be perfect at what you do. There is no second chance to a rescue. And what we've done, we've partnered with the police department. So whenever there is a call out or there is an emergency in the territory, TSART is called upon to assist the police department.
All right, stay tuned for Focus. We'll have more information on TSART after this commercial break.
The house was shaking. Then suddenly saw we hear bang, crack, and the roof had gone.
Man, I was so scared, I nearly wet myself.
Only those who have lived it can truly understand the devastating fury of a hurricane's wind.
The house across the road just get up and roll over.
Hurricane force wind. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can hurricane-proof your home. For example, make your roof more wind-resistant by using screws instead of nails in its construction. Find out more about hurricane force winds and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the Department of Disaster Management.
I heard about storm surge on TV, but didn't really know what it was.
I found the wipe test out. The system with everything all gone.
The waves were higher than the house.
The devastating force of a storm surge is awesome. Wave after wave. Tons and tons of water lashing and smashing down all before it. Storm surge. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. If you live alongside the seaside, sooner or later, storm surge, the big waves and high seas caused by a storm, will threaten your property. Plan for it. Build for it. Maybe don't build there at all. Find out more about storm surge and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the Department of Disaster Management.
Welcome back to Focus. I'm speaking with Mr. George, member of the Territorial Search and Rescue Team, TSART, as we continue to discuss the team's role in making the BVI a more resilient community. Now, before the commercial break, we started to speak about how the skills you've learned in the training exercises have been applied in real-life situations. Yes. Can you expound on that a bit more? What else has the team been involved in since its inception?
Since its inception, the team has been continuing in its training, because with training that we realize it makes you better. It brings us closer as a team, and we are very close in that we know each other's skills and skill level. Going out there as a team to perform any form of rescue, there is no second chance. Mm-hmm. And what we've done, we have partnered with the police department on a number of operations. In that TSART goes out there with the police department, perform search and recovery exercises as last Monday, the 15th of August. We went out with the police department on Deadman Chest and Peter Island, where it was believed that a boat sank a few weeks ago and a number of persons were in the water. We were able to go there, conduct a search with them, and let them know our findings.
Okay, all right. And TSART, in terms of TSART's activation, how many times has it been activated since its inception? Do you recall?
A lot of times.
Okay. How can the skills learned be applied beyond TSART and into your communities and even your profession?
As a police officer, I was able to use my skill on my job that I learned from TSART. As a first responder, I was trained as a first responder from TSART, and there was an incident which occurred whilst I'm on police duty, in that someone was shot, and I was able to use my first responder skills and save that person's life. So the training that I receive at TSART doesn't go directly to TSART, but I incorporate it in my daily life, whether professional or professional life. And it goes further than that. We as a team, we are trained in so many different skills that we are able to save anyone's life at any given time if called upon.
All right, and that speaks to the true value of TSART.
Of TSART, yes.
And the training that you all have been exposed to.
Definitely.
Mr. George, thank you so much for providing so much information on TSART, and we continue to look forward to hearing more about TSART and your contribution to building resilience in the Virgin Islands.
And I want to say thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Right. Stay tuned for more after this break.
The Department of Disaster Management is located at number 3 Whaling Road, McNamara, Tortola. Our mission is to protect lives and maintain a resilient, stable economy and society by fostering comprehensive disaster management and climate change adaptation as a way of life. For all your disaster management needs, contact the Department of Disaster Management at 468-4200 to speak with one of our knowledgeable staff. That's 468-4200. Or you can visit our website at www.bviddm.com. We're also on Facebook, and you can follow us on Twitter. The Department of Disaster Management, your life-saving connection.
A little rain fall and you come home and your house gone. Gone. I never thought this would happen to me.
Told them it could happen, but they never paid me no mind. Never.
The whole road gone down the hill.
Landslides happen all the time. Sometimes little, sometimes big. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. You can do something about landslides. Trees and shrubs on hillsides bind earth together and help stop landslides. Preserve vegetation. Stop landslides. Find out more at your local disaster office. A message from the Department of Disaster Management.
I remember when this beach was really wide, a place to picnic and play cricket.
And we used to go up to the end to get away from all the people. Now all the beach gone.
Coastal erosion. When the sea starts to come in and take the land away, everyone loses something.
Granny, look how the waves are washing right under that house.
Coastal erosion. It's a hazard. Hazards. Take control. Reduce your loss. What can you do to help stop coastal erosion? For one, don't drive four-wheel vehicles on seaside dunes. They loosen sand and destroy binding vegetation, causing erosion. Find out more about coastal erosion and other hazards at your local disaster office. A message from the Department of Disaster Management.
Search and rescue teams play a vital role in supporting the response and recovery efforts in emergency situations and disasters. As volunteers, teams such as TSART contribute to the wider aim of saving lives and improving the resilience of the territory. Continuous training is therefore necessary to ensure the members remain ready to respond if called upon to do so. Additionally, as individuals living in various communities, emergency situations may arise which can negatively affect members of the community or even family members. The same skills which the team members are exposed to in the training can therefore be applied to save lives. TSART has been equipped and resourced according to international standards identified in a capability assessment and has been engaging in ongoing training and skills development. DDM began training the team in December of 2014 to apply basic navigation techniques, and since then the team has been trained in a number of other areas. These include, but not limited to, international standards for search consideration and techniques, incident command system, rope rescue, communications, maps, compasses, land navigation, emergency care and treatment, and water safety. The Incident Command System and the Emergency Care and Treatment training were both supported by the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, while the rope rescue was facilitated by the Caribbean Emergency Response Training Academy, CERTA, based in the BVI, as well as search techniques and considerations through the BVI Red Cross. The continuous training is also part of our efforts to have the team accredited through the Urban Search and Rescue Standards developed by the Emergency Management Accreditation Program, EMAP, and the International Maritime Organization, IMO. The intention is to also have the team certified for regional and international deployment through the International Search and Rescue Advisory Group, which is a global network of more than 80 countries and organizations endorsed by a resolution of the United Nations General Assembly. And to ensure TSART members can be formally identified, the team was presented with TSART branded T-shirts in March of this year. The T-shirts were sponsored by Delta Petroleum Limited. Welcome back to Focus. Before the commercial break, I concluded the interview with Steve George, a member of the Territorial Search and Rescue Team, TSART. Thank you for viewing and listening to this edition of Focus. Before ending the program, it's important that I mention that these intense capacity building and skills development programs for TSART will not only ensure that the team is efficient and capable of supporting and assisting operations locally, but it's all part of our effort to develop a team which meets international accreditation standards. I am Fiona Alexander-Smith, Information and Education Manager at the Department of Disaster Management. Join me next time for another edition on CBN Television and on 90.9 FM.